Going live. Hello, hello, beautiful people. Just waiting for this to kick in a little bit. Okie doke. Okie day. Okie doke. Hello, welcome to another episode of the Chrissie Mayr podcast. You can find us on iTunes, YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. And if you're listening to us on iTunes right now, when this plays back later on, please give us a 5-star review. I read the best reviews every week, so long as they are 5 stars. Thank you so much for all the reviews that you guys have left so far. Really quick, a couple stand-up dates I want to mention. This Saturday, I'll be at Tiff's Ale House. It's the Dojo of Comedy at Tiff's Ale House in Morris Plains, New Jersey. That show is this Saturday at 8 o'clock, June 12th. Be there or be square, boys and girls. And then the following week, next Friday, I'll be in Bethel, Pennsylvania. The Comedians of the Compound will be live at the Pat Garrett Amphitheater. So for tickets, you can go to my website, chrissiemayr.com, or I believe compoundcomedy.com is the other website for that. Thank you so much. Quick shout out to our sponsor, Cushy Dreams. They are my go-to for all things CBD. They're how I cope with these anxiety-inducing times. Cushy Dreams offers a full lineup of premium smokable CBD. They specialize in bud, which is in the tins, and pre-roll CBD joints. Looks, feels, smells just like high quality weed, but it's not going to get you high. For me, I really like it because I'm like pretty sensitive to weed. If I get high, I'm like sort of useless for the rest of the afternoon. And I like it because I have a couple pulls on one of the joints, and then within couple minutes, my mind and body are calmed down. I love the packaging. I love these 5-packs. You just like, whoop, good for a little purse, good for your pocket, good for your car or whatever. You can enjoy all the health benefits of CBD without getting high. There's under 0.3% THC in all these products. It's cannabis that ships directly to you. It's legal in all 50 states. Join the men and women who are sick of vapes and gummies and want to smoke their CBD. What I love about it, it's grown here in the USA. It's slow grown. They guarantee maximum freshness and like highest level of cannabinoids. You can check on their website, cushydreams.com, to see all of their independent lab tests to show compliance and purity. They take the artisan approach. Every run is a small batch. Again, high quality stuff. They have different indica sativa blends like energy, hustle, relax, create, dream, peace. So whatever you want to do with your day, Cushy Dreams has you covered. Go to cushydreams.com and use promo code CMP. You're going to get 20% off every order, boys and girls. Look at that. Whew, I'm just throwing that up on the screen like it's nothing. I like their stuff. It makes me feel calm and chill and whatever. You know who else makes me feel calm? This next guest. I'm so excited to have her on. She's, you know her, you love her. You may have noticed she's Penthouse Pet of the Year. She's probably my favorite porn star gal out there at the time. I know. I have a lot of favorites, but she's my favorite right now. Sweetest, best girl ever. So excited to have her on the pod again. Nicole Aniston.
Hi.
Hello.
That's some of the nicest stuff anybody's ever said. Thank you.
Oh my
I
gosh, you're welcome.
like I was just telling you the other day, I love following you because you're like one of the few people I don't have on mute. And
wow, that means a lot. I mean, to be not muted in 2021 is high praise
we're
by
all
anybody.
muted. I'm muted. I know people have me muted too, and that's okay. You know, you gotta social media. That's what's it's nice because you can create the experience you have. And if you want somebody to be muted, if you don't want to listen to their shit, you just turn them off, and it's so great. And you can't take offense to it either because it's their social media experience. They have to look at what they choose to look at.
Yeah. And a lot of it is about just, you have to, unfortunately, so much of our inner world is dictated by our outer world. And if you are somebody who is like highly susceptible to messaging, or I don't know, if everything you're following on social media is making you negative and not increasing, like not enhancing your life, then then you do need to maybe mute and block a few people, and it becomes like a a sanity thing for sure. And also, Nicole, if I go out for any reason, if I like disappear, just keep talking. Like I have
Okay.
like a finicky little internet cord, but like I just don't want you to feel like, she's deserted me.
Okay, no worries. I'll keep just in case.
I
Oh
think I
no.
have I think I have like a super cut reel going of all the times my internet cord has gone out on my guests, and they're like, what the hell's happening?
Hello? Okay, no worries.
I remember, Nicole, the last time you were on was last August. My gosh, like last summer already. And I remember you were saying at that time, like you were definitely not going to get the jab. Have your feelings changed at all? Now it's almost a year later.
No, my feelings are still the same. I'm really confident, and I was talking with a stranger. I've been coming across these amazing conversations with strangers lately, and I think like attracts like. Law of attraction works really powerfully in my life, and I have a lot of awesome conversations with strangers about it, seemingly, and they're all really, it's a medical procedure, and no one will tell me that my body doesn't know what it needs, or that I don't know what my body's telling me. And I think that is, for me and my personal experience, it's worked really well just to listen to what my body requires and go with that. And I had COVID last year. It was a heck of a day. I had one day that was like I had some back pain,
Wow.
but I work all year long to make sure that my body has all the nutrients and all the nutritional gaps filled in that I'm not getting in my diet, and just so that I can listen more accurately and know what it needs. And if I felt that I was susceptible or that I required a vaccine, I would get it. But I don't feel that's the best choice for me.
Yeah, it's nice that you can have like, and I'm finding this too, like nice conversations with strangers. I think after especially a year of being like, a lot of people have spent like the most of the last year, like kind of indoors. Like not me. I feel like I'm just like, I've been doing the same old stuff,
Me
traveling
too. I've been
everywhere.
out and like I've been
Yeah.
having so much fun, rekindling friendships, and just like enjoying being outside and finding new things to do that don't require being indoors in a confined space with strangers who are fearful of me. Because I don't have that fear. If my body's going to encounter something that it needs to combat, I trust that my gut and my immune system is going to address it accurately, and I don't have that fear. But fear is also the first precursor to your body to tell it that there's something to combat in the first place. So I
Hmm.
choose not to feel fearful. But you're right, it's great. There's a lot more people kind of coming into that confidence and knowing that they can work on their immune system. They can eat healthier foods. They can have lighter, more positive emotional realities and not have to dwell in this really dark space all the time, where their cortisol's up, their hormones through the roof, and they're maybe living in an emotionally instilled, suppressed immune reality where they have something to fear. And yeah, it's great. The conversation's at least becoming a little bit more, for the most part, in my experience, open to where people are saying, no, I don't feel like it's for me, or yeah, I feel like I want to get it for these reasons. It's freedom of choice. If you feel like you need it, get it. If you don't, then no one is going to tell me that I have to have a medical procedure. It's just not going to.
Yeah. Are you feeling there is pressure in the industry, either peer to peer or coming from like executives or like, I don't know, the people in charge to get it? Are you feeling that there's pressure?
I am not influenced by pressure. So
Woo! Yes.
if there was, it hasn't reached my psyche enough to be like, oh, if I don't get it, I'm not going to be a porn star anymore. You know what I mean? I'm at home, I'm shooting with my partner. I might go back to doing girl at some point for a studio, but I'm having a lot of fun shooting my own shit at home and not having to even deal with someone who sees me as a threat. So, and if they did, I mean, look at me. Do I not look healthy enough to maintain my wellness with or without a vaccination? That, I don't know, it might not be the best thing for everybody. Every
Yeah.
body is different. And it's not a one size fits all thing. Just like any medical procedure will not always be right for everybody. So I will not be delegated and I will not be chosen for. There will be nothing that will be decided for me, and nor will I look at others and what they're doing and feel any kind of a pressure to do anything.
That's great. And I wonder if like maybe some of the newer people getting into the industry, like if there is that pressure, will they feel it? And I guess that'll be the kind of deciding factor for folks.
Yeah.
Like just like with some of these venues in New York City, I'm seeing like Madison Square Garden is doing a concert with the Foo Fighters. They just announced it's going to be like June 20th, and the whole audience has to be vaccinated. And it's like, all right, well, I guess that's it'll come down to how bad someone wants to see the Foo Fighters. Like if you had asked me
right
15 years ago, maybe I would have said something different. But now I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I can throw on an old playlist. And
it's for sure. It's those experiences where if they're going to withhold joy from me based on conditions, I don't want to be a part of that activity. And if they're going to try to regulate my body, and that's something I'm not going to be willing to do. It's just I will gladly step away from, and I won't feel like I'm missing out on the experience, because the experience comes with conditions, and the conditions mean letting someone perform a medical procedure to my body that I don't require. So I'll just step away and I'll find something else to do.
Yeah. And I think that people I'm seeing like, okay, I think it was this one hospital in Houston that very much like bullying their staff to get it, and very much using the numbers like, oh, there's 178 that haven't gotten it. And the message is coming from like the top down on the, I guess, whoever runs the hospital, like, oh, this is an unfortunate day. It's too bad that, like, that the people that are vaccinated on the staff might lose friends that aren't. Like, you can see like all the social peer pressure at work there. And I'm just like,
yeah,
I don't know. I'm lucky that I don't work in the medical.
It's tough. They're using it, and we're in a very polarized time, and that's where it is with everything right now. It's, don't eat this because it causes cancer, and don't brush your teeth too often, and don't hang out with those people. And it comes down to the individual. You can't just listen to what media or what a union is saying for their own interest. You have to look at yourself as, do you feel like you need this? And if you do, make the choice. If you don't, make the choice. To me, it's just not that big of this like, oh, I don't know what to do kind of issue. You just have to choose for you, and would understand that there are circumstances that come with getting a medical procedure that may not have been as properly practiced, or stuff comes with trials. Sometimes look at breast implants. We've had breast implants since 40, 50 years, and people like me are going, oh shit, I'm sick from my breast implants, we got to take them out now. So there's stuff with everything. You just have to outweigh. You got to just, based on right now, do you feel like it's a good idea? If it's not, then don't choose that, and don't let anybody pressure you into doing anything with your body. It's like nobody gives a damn if you wrap your truck in some crazy neon print, or you put a big, fuck you sticker on the side of your vehicle. But the vehicle you walk around in, anytime anybody, doesn't want something for you, it's the same with plastic surgery, all the fun shit that we do to ourselves. If it's your vessel to walk around in, nobody cares if you put a lift kit on your truck, but the moment you do anything to your body, people are all up in arms about it.
It's so backwards. It's like, what business is it of yours? Like, it's well, obviously Big Pharma is trying to make it their business.
They're literally trying to make it their business, but just like anything else, they really want to sell you Nintendo, and they really want to sell you that brand new iPhone, and I don't need those things. And I know they really want to make money, or they want to give me something for free, or they want to incentivize that, but I've never seen another medical procedure so heavily incentivized financially, with treats, with giveaways, with this and that. And to me, there's always some fine print in there that I don't think I'm able to read yet. So I'm going to hold off on that agreement, because I don't think that's the right choice.
Absolutely. And we got a super chat from fuck Google, lol. Google. This conversation is the kind that is lacking in the mainstream media. Of course, like so many of these the people who we thought we could trust for news and not to be biased are the same folks who are in on it, who are making money from it.
Well, they don't want to discuss free will. They don't want to discuss free will, and they don't want to discuss people getting in touch with their immune systems, their wellness, and their bodies. They want you to go to an external source and be very dependent on what that external paid source says about your body. And there's a lot of opinions throughout 34 years of life that I'm so glad I didn't take about my body that others have been offering and soliciting that I choose. I'm so glad I never chose any of that.
It's wild, Nicole, like just from, looking through your social media, and I commend you for dealing with this. I know it comes with like what you do, but the amount of comments that I see from people, exactly, like they're strangers going, "Oh, I liked you better when you had your implants in. I liked you better when you looked like this. Oh no." It's like, guess what? You're probably still coming pretty hard to how you look right now.
And if that's what you like, luckily for you, strange man, there's so much content on the internet still available for you to rewatch. I will never make a decision based on what someone else thinks is best for me. Never. Even if I have to choose wrong and learn my lesson, I would much rather live that reality.
I had no idea that you were getting sick from your implants and that's why you took them out. I thought you were just like sick, like wanted to change up your look.
No, I was having some issues, and it wasn't until about 2 weeks after I got them taken out when I was like, oh, that's obvious. There were some obvious changes. And still, I just keep getting healthier and healthier.
Wow.
But it's like anything else. Like I had all my lip filler dissolved, and I stopped getting acrylic nails, and I want to go in a different direction, a simpler, less artificial direction. And I think that's the way everything's heading. You look at labels on food and you go to the grocery store, it's all saying what they lack: no gluten, no GMOs, no this, no that, simplifying and getting down to the basic raw stuff of what makes life enjoyable. And I, coming to find out, I'm like, I really like my body without implants.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, that's great. Wait, is that the new rattlesnake tattoo?
Yeah.
I saw you were talking about getting one. Oh my gosh.
It's healing up, and I don't know if I'm going to go back and get any additional detailing, but I kind of like the outline. And
when did you get it?
I got it 5 days. I think it's been 5 days.
Wow. Wow, looks cool.
Thanks.
I like it. Oh, super chat. Oh, we go. Very important. F, Mary Kill, Madison Ivy, Alex Lynx, and Riley Reed. Ooh.
Oh, that's tough. You know what? I like all of them. So I don't think, but I also don't want to get married, and I would never hurt a fly. So I just love them all.
All right, let's see. How can we fix these categories? Maybe F, domestic partnerships, or go on a long vacation with, and not text. How do you take
no marriage and no murder?
No murder.
In prison.
Oh God, I don't know. I honestly couldn't choose. I love them all individually, but this game is like so. I can't choose. I can't choose. I wouldn't even be able to say. And honestly, Riley and I have only worked together once, and we've only spent very limited times together, so I'm not sure. I love Madison Ivy, and I love Alex Lynx. So I can't say that I would. I think that Riley is the one that I know the least of the three, but I don't think I would. I'd fuck them all, obviously. I would fuck them all,
like, I have, yeah.
We'll close it there. I would fuck all of them. They're amazing.
I love it. Yeah. I wonder, it's like, I'm like, would you go on, I'm thinking like vacations I go on, like I haven't gone on a girlfriend vacation in so long.
I've
like,
never done one, so I don't know. I'm kind of a solo traveler, and I've always been that way. And that's my jam, because you get there and you're like, all right, what do I want to do? where do I want to go?
That's the best.
Wherever I
I
go.
love traveling by myself because it's like, and I don't know if this is like a me trait or a female trait. It's like I just default to what the other person wants and I try to be accommodating, but it's like, oh, it's just me. It's like, yes, I will go to Taco Bell at 10 in the morning.
I like that too, because then when I check in and I'm like, do I want to take a nap? Do I want to eat? Do I want to work out? Do I want to go into town, get some coffee? There's no schedule. And for me, I like to live and travel and vacation on a whim. So if I'm somewhere and I just want to get a rental car and then drive up to the mountains for like 6 hours, I want to go do that. And I don't want to ask anybody else, what do you feel like doing? But it's those trips, you can choose, you go with somebody else, you plan to accommodate for their desires during the trip too. But I really like to travel solo.
Oh yeah. And you mentioned that you are shooting with a partner. Is this like a boyfriend type?
This is a boyfriend. This is a long time. God, we do this, we come together and then we split off for a while and we do our own thing. And we've reconvened and just the connection with this man is just uncanny. I can't figure it out.
Ooh.
We just realized the other day, and the more this has been years. We just found out the other day that we went to the same preschool.
Oh my God.
At the same time. And then we saw each other and played together when we were 8. Aww. And then we saw each other again at a Christian school that he was attending that my mom was doing, like pony ride petting zoo type thing that she went and did. And then 7th grade, I had a crush on him. And I did, but he was the kid who kicked everybody's ass, so I was afraid that he would kick my ass.
Oh wow.
So I never said anything.
Is he a bully?
He was he did pro fighting for years, MMA, and now he does mostly jujitsu and boxing. He did boxing for a while. Really likes that. But he was a pro MMA fighter for years, from the time he was like right out of the gates at 18 years old. Wow. And he had that going through school. He was a tough shell to crack. And so I wasn't going to be that kid 7th grade to be like, ooh, to the kid who kicks everybody's ass, because who knows the kid's a wild card. Mm-hmm. But it's funny. We have this really long standing history and we have a lot of synchronicities and we kind of just keep coming back together. So, but at the time it's awesome. He's a good one.
Wow. What are your signs?
I'm a Virgo and he's a Scorpio.
Oh, the sex must be so good.
Yeah.
I know, because I'm a Scorpio.
You know how there's a lot of misconception around the Scorpio sign, a lot of like confusion and fear, but he's strong and strong-minded, and I get it. Like there's just like with anybody, there's certain stigmas that exist around certain people. But you just have to get to know the person a little better and not just be like, oh, Scorpio, because he is very traditional Scorpio, but it's not like in the ways that you'd expect. Like he's very competitive and very, but I think it's hard because with someone that's strong-minded, you can't really influence them. And I think that's where people get off a little bit of a bad rap for not being just like, oh, I'll believe anything anyone says. Like they just walk a straight line. They make their own decisions. They call their own shots. They learn things the hard way. And you just have to let people be as they're going to be and not try to be like, let me put you in a category and try to figure you out according to the way I learn about people.
That actually reminds me of this tweet of yours, because I love your Twitter. I feel like, and I wonder like which of your tweets you tweet out like after you've like smoked, you know what I mean? Because they sound like very wise, like almost like high thoughts, or also you're just sort of like an elevated consciousness to begin with, like you're a high vibing person. But I noticed this tweet of yours, and it's exactly what you're talking about right now. It was from May 5th. Annoying traits and irritating nuances you observe in others are truly just unacknowledged sneak peeks of their hidden talents, gifts, and creativity that they're suppressed. Let others be as they are.
It's true. And I've even noticed this about myself. When my creativity is not allowed to be, if I'm for some reason not finding a good outlet for my voice, my creativity, if I feel suppressed or weighed down by something, whether it be just, confined to perception of another, or if it's just something where I've got a lot of responsibilities going on and I'm not able to really express my true self, then I'm annoying. I am really, really annoying, and I know myself, and there's things that I'll do that are really out of character. And I just feel like when I recognize these annoying little traits in other people that prior my old consciousness would find that really irritating, I look at that and I think, that is, whatever it is, probably just something that is a misdirected, amazing quality. Whereas they're not able to express themselves fully in one way, shape, or form, and they're directing it into an unhealthy pattern or something to attempt to be expressed. And really, that's all it is. So when you see those like things that annoy you about other people, a little trait or something, especially with family, it's really nice to be like in that space of acknowledgement with family when you have to tolerate, you have to have, your family, you kind of have to be around them. You have to tolerate them. You have to have interactions with them and family reunions and Thanksgiving. And so, but it's great to come into that and just let people be as they are. And I love this. I can't remember where I saw this, but it was like when you see a Bob or a Sue or a Joe or a Jane and they're fucking annoying you, it's not that they're fucking annoying. It's that they are the perfect Joe as they are, the perfect Bob, the perfect Sue. Whatever they are, they're the perfect one of what they are, as they are, when they are, because that's all that their consciousness will allow them to express right now. And you can't force them to grow. All you can do is just be there, respect how they are, and there's nothing more you need to offer. Just compassion. Just offer compassion for them. Because we've all been in those contracted places where, we look back and, oh my God, 10 years ago, why was I doing that to myself? I'm sure if I noticed the inconsistency with my behaviors and actions, I'm sure other people noticed it too. So it's great to just forgive yourself for where you are, when you are, as you are, and give others that compassion too, because everyone's just doing their best. And I remind myself that all the time. It's very rarely now that I get really frustrated. But when I do, I just take a breath and remind myself that I've been in that exact position. And I would have loved to have had compassion. So I'm going to be able to show it.
How freeing is that? Like, how much time and energy have we all spent in small ways and in large ways, like trying to change another person over the years? Like everybody watching has done it. It's like, if only my partner was more this or more that. And it's like, I'm sure they're thinking that of you in some way, and how much time you get back by just like radically accepting people as they are.
Yeah. And if they're not going to be congruent with your goals and aspirations in a relationship, you'll figure it out. They'll phase out. It doesn't have to come to a head and be a big blow up. You can just as easily have a calm, rational conversation with someone and say, look, I think we're on different wavelengths. I think we're just different people. And with family, if you absolutely have to be in the immediate vicinity, if not, remove yourself. Just take the path of least resistance and just remove yourself altogether, because there's no point in putting yourself through that when you know that you can't affect change, positive change in someone else's life, because you don't want them to suffer. But if they are at the hand of their own suffering and you're just a witness to it, all you have to do is remove yourself from the awareness of their suffering. You don't have to get entangled in it. It's tough because we all want to be involved in each other's grow up process, and we want to attribute our assistance to their goodness and their getting better and having a better life. But sometimes it's not about that. It's about just, okay, well, there's not much I can do. I can just be a compassionate listener or friend or confidant or sounding board, whatever role you want to play, but never exhaust yourself to accommodate another.
It's such a good lesson, and especially with family, when we feel like, oh, this person's failure is somehow a reflection on me, or I should have done this or that. And it's like nobody likes being told what to do. And it's like don't offer help to somebody who's not seeking help. It's like you're just gonna cause resentment.
It's that funny saying, it's no good deed goes unpunished or something like that. You have to really truly offer assistance if it's going to be an act of genuine goodness offer assistance without the expectation of any outcome, not with the intention of they're going to change or they're going to be grateful even, because you're going to let yourself down. You're going to offer any kind of an outreach, just purely do it out of, I feel compassionate and I don't expect anything in return and I don't expect them to change. I'm just going to do what I can.
I like one of your tweets, like there's always a self-love theme to a lot of your tweets. And one of them was about and some of the things you say are so simple, but they're also so profound. And there was this one that was all about like folks like allow yourself to set yourself free from activities that no longer serve you. Like how does one go about figuring out what that is? I mean, it sounds so simple, right? But we all get in our routines. We all we have like obligations. Like, what do you think? What would you recommend to somebody who's like, okay, how do I figure out what the activities are that aren't serving me? And then how do I and also what have you kind of cut out or let go of recently?
I've cut out a ton of stuff. For me, it came down to presence and slowing down my actions so that I can determine whether that action brings me joy or not. And that was my determining factor. Even if it's as simple as like if I'm making I love hot cocoa. Like in the morning, I have this lineup of beverages. I have water and charcoal and digestive enzymes and celery juice. And I love my lineup of beverages in the morning. It's like my thing. So when I have each beverage, I drink it and I savor it and I taste it. And I know that drinking it is going to help my body in these ways. And I'm just present in the activities that I do and I relish in the joy that they bring me. And if it doesn't bring me joy, then I take a step back and I think, is there a way that I can change my perspective in this to either allow it to bring me joy or to stop the activity altogether? So, we're all creators of our own reality. And it's awesome once you accept that and start seeing the ways slowly throughout your day that you can kind of feel more empowered by making those choices in the moment. Does this bring me joy? Or is there a way that I can find joy in the activity until something that allows me to feel more fulfilled comes along? And if it's just as simple as that. And I've kind of based a lot of my choices on that and not allowed anyone else to determine my choices for me, because if it doesn't feel good to me now and someone else is urging me to keep going, it's not going to feel good in a week. It's not going to feel good in a month. If it's something that I've obligated myself to, if it's an agreement that I've made and I have to fulfill, then I just try to find ways that I can make it as pleasurable as an experience as possible until my agreement is fulfilled. And then I learn from that. And I just think, okay, well, I've chosen that. I've learned that experience and I don't have to choose it again. Rather than recognizing, oh, this partner, this job, this company, this shoot. For me, it's like, working for companies and stuff and going to set every day. And I don't want to do that anymore. I don't want to be on set for 12 hours without eating and not have my basic needs met. But I've done that long enough out of necessity that one day I just was like, fuck it. I'm taking my breast implants out. I'm done. I'm going to shoot porn at home. Job in the world. Why wouldn't I make it even exceedingly more simple for myself? But it's like that. If you're in a job that you hate, but you feel at the time it's your only option, the only real possibility to make it a more joyful experience is to find more joy in that job and to slow your thoughts down. If it's a boss you hate, think about their redeeming qualities. Think about that they're committed to their position. They are timely. They are on top of their tasks. They, count your blessings.
Wow, that's good. That's good advice for a boss that you hate, what do you admire about this person? Because you get so used to just like you're bitching,
It's that, and that's our inner monologue. We do that to ourselves, and like attracts like. And if you this is what I love, and I attribute a lot of this stuff to Abraham Hicks, which is one of
Yes, I love Abraham Hicks. Oh my God, that was like one of my first channelers.
Everybody, because if you can just slow down and appreciate the good qualities, literally 14 to 16 second period of positive, optimistic, loving thoughts, and that is what your brain will think next. And if you practice it enough, your neural networking will be completely rewired. And it's just like when you go into a gym, you don't pick up a 25-pound weight, start curling. You start with a 5. You build that muscle. Your neural network and all these patterns and stuff of thoughts, and your default mode network is just like a muscle. You really have to start back at the base level of, okay, well, where can I find positive aspects of this reality that I really don't want to experience anymore, but it's here and it's here for me to deal with. I created it. Accepting responsibility puts you in that position of, I chose all of this, and you can choose differently.
You're not a victim. Yeah.
You're not a victim. No one else has done this to you. You have chosen these things, and you can choose differently, and you can work your way out of whatever you're in.
It almost sounds like what you're saying, like Byron Katie has a book called The Work. It sounds very similar to like just how to reframe your thinking into a better situation.
Yeah, it is mind over matter, and it's hard when you're so overwhelmed by the matter, when you're physically in a situation, relationships. It's usually it's a relationship or a communication issue, or a job or a house or living situation where you're like, I'm here now. I created this, and now I'm overwhelmed with what is. Well, you have to focus. Sorry, got air coming out. You have to focus on the positive aspects of that, and that has to be the precursor to the next thought and the next thought and the next thought. You have to think your way and feel emotionally, because this is something that I've just found in my personal reality. When I feel good and my emotions are at an all-time high, everything in the universe responds like that. And
people think it's the opposite way. People think it's the other way around. When things happen for me, then I'll be happy.
Then I'll be joyous. And that's not the reality. And you're going to be waiting for the rest of your life. You're never going to achieve that joy when you can apply the emotional state to it first. And it's like there's like a listening device in the ether, and it's just waiting for you to ask for a better feeling reality. And you have to feel it first, and then that we're such incredible creators, and we've been demeaned and just
made to think that we're powerless.
We've been made to feel we've been reminded constantly, and yet that is the media and all this stuff. It's not telling us that we're powerless. It's giving us a suggestion, just like fear. This is a really good thing with fear and anxiety and anger. It's not triggering you to feel these things. It's a request. Do you want to feel fearful?
Ooh.
When the fear is presented, you have to slow down and think, okay, do I want to feel fear? And no one wants to feel fear. No one wants to feel anxious.
People don't realize they have the option. Yeah.
Yes, they're told this is what you're going to feel, rather than this is what we're suggesting you feel, yes or no. Everything is a question, and it's your free will. It cannot be violated if you take back your power in that way.
That is so important to remember with everything you watch and everything you absorb and consume. Like, you always have a choice. You can always turn it off. Like, it's not, if it doesn't feel good, it's like, I don't know. I almost feel like if it's not feeling good and resonating, then it's not the truth, Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where discernment comes in. You can really start to build discernment with media and friendships, relationships, opportunities. Slowing down your thought process and really feeling how you feel in the moment, rather than, oh my God, there's something that's pissing me off over there, and I'm going to have a bad day for the rest of the day. That's just a request. You don't have to acknowledge it or accept that request. You can just say, no, I'm not going to feel that way. I'm just not going to feel that way.
Do you think a lot of girls in the industry like forget that they, or maybe feel like they don't have as much choice, that they have to work with people that maybe cross boundaries or they don't feel good with? Like, I remember there was this thing with like Markus Dupree that he was crossing a lot of boundaries, and he just was an example of somebody that was, and I think you had worked with him and you were like, okay, I'm not going to work with this guy again. Yeah.
Well, but that was a really good lesson learned. I worked with him one day. It was a very unpleasant day, and I didn't have to choose it again. I wasn't pressured into it because I've always felt with adult companies have been very little things that I've done that I didn't really want to do, but I did anyway.
Okay.
That day was like, he came highly recommended. They had used him. The company had used him a bunch, and he had been great. They had not had any
company?
issues personally. It was a big company.
Oh, okay.
Big.
Okay.
they had leading to up until my day with him, they had always had a good experience. And so they were only going off of what they had experienced in his presence, and it was always positive. So at the end of this day, I was expecting them not to hire him again, but I couldn't control what they chose. So I just was like, well, I'm certainly not going to work with him again. But it was not this like trauma. I mean, if he had tried to rape me, I'd fucking cut his ass. He would never try that because I was not that type of energy to welcome that in. It was not going to happen that way. So if he was going to be violent with me or anything like that, it just wasn't going to happen. If he was going to storm off set, that was going to be his choice. But, all the things that he's chosen with all these companies and all these girls, those are all his choices. And we can't just sit here and be like, oh no, what's so-and-so, anybody going to do next? You can't prepare for their action. You just have to know that whatever their action is or their words, choices, whatever, is just a request of you. It's not a demand. You don't have to do anything to respond to them in order to please them. If nothing else, coddling someone with that nature, anyone, a boss, a lover, a coworker, a producer on a porn set, you never have to say yes. It's always a request. Would you like to? If you don't, then you don't get a paycheck. Okay, I'll accept no paycheck today and I'll just leave. It's just never been really that complicated of a thing for me to decide and choose. But I would see where, yes, subjective experiences, people get on porn sets and they feel a little overwhelmed by the male energy. It's kind of been in the past a patriarchal system, and a lot of younger girls come in, feeling like, okay, this is where
you have to do anything. Yeah.
My value, this is where I can have a stronghold in this tiny little community and feel valued and appreciated by male energy. Whereas I don't know about other girls, but sometimes you're gravitated towards something to either perpetuate a trauma or heal from it. And coming from a past of sexual abuse, getting into an industry that would perpetuate, sexual experiences that are abnormal in nature will often yield an ability to resolve those sexual traumas or relive them. So I think it's all just choice.
And I wonder if the girls that left the industry because of him, maybe they were meant to find their way out of it, or it was perpetuating their own. Yeah.
I mean, I had one very mild day with that person, and it was like producers too that I've worked with that I'm like, well, that guy was a dick. I'm not going to do that again. Eventually though, enough stories, compound, and they just get X'd. They just get X'd out, or I don't even know what ended up happening to him, because my awareness has been la la la, butterflies and rainbows, because that's what I want to focus on. And it's not blindly optimistic or ignorant. It's just, I'm going to choose the good feelings for me.
Absolutely.
To dwell on this one negative day someone will never have to encounter again.
It really feels like, Nicole, like just in talking to you, you're like and it's not by accident, but like it seems like negativity just flows, it rolls right off of you. It's like you've protected like your space, and through your choices, it's just like you have such an easy way about you, and that's like that takes work. That takes like choice of what you're going to let in.
Yeah, it takes a lot of practice. I lived most of my life extremely angry and combative, but an introvert, so having no social skills. And the industry was great for me, and it was really necessary because I got to build some people skills, and being very sexually inexperienced and kind of getting into the porn world thinking, oh, sex is not acceptable, not okay to have, female pleasure, stuff like that. Just kind of being indoctrinated with that. It's been really great to kind of find an outlet. But yeah, it takes a lot of work, because the entire paradigm right now is telling us all and we're all kind of perpetuating it amongst our behavior and stuff with each other. Once you stop doing that thing that makes me mad or fearful or irritated, then I'll feel better. And that's, you figure out when that doesn't work, and then you're like, well, okay, maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the one. And then once you realize it is you, it's always only ever you, then you're like, well, I have so much complete control over my reality now and the experiences I have. And because it's not that you're not going to encounter somebody who's going to bring you adversity, whether it be a conversation or there's going to be problems that arise. It's just how you deal with those things. And the less negatively reactive you are to adversity, the less adversity can show up in your life anyway, because it can only ever be adversity. If it comes in and it's a surprise or an adventure rather than an ordeal, then you don't perceive it as adversity, and you just have these fun little things that happen to you in life, and it's fun, and chaos always yields order, always. And so I love chaos. Anytime I see someone get in a car accident and they get all excited, because that was the universe saying, stop right here. You're done right here. And something at this point in your life is going to change for the better.
Wow.
For the better if you let it.
What like an awesome way to, I mean, not like you're excited for car crashes, but like, yeah, what everything.
I mean, I never want to see harm befall anyone, but I like chaos, because I know that in my situation too, I've had some events that at the time when it happened, if I was me looking at me, seeing that happen, and I was having this lighthearted reaction, I would be pissed at me for thinking that about my situation.
Yeah, like, but how dare you not take it seriously?
How dare you not take it more seriously? But life is so much more fun and enjoyable when you have a perspective of, this is going to teach me something awesome. I know it's temporary. Nothing, literally nothing is forever. Nothing. And why not? I mean, why not revel in the marvel and in intrigue that life just exists? I mean, we're in just this tiny little perception of our version of reality and we're so wrapped up in it. Why not take it a little lighter and just experience and have fun and interact and not get so hard on it? We've been programmed. It's going to take a lot of practice for a lot of us to get out of that mindset of everything is so heavy and so serious. There are a lot of big issues going on right now that absolutely have to be addressed. But just enjoying life, being present, being grateful, and finding those lighter-hearted ways to address some of these heavier issues on an individual level are really going to reflect in the collective as well.
It's like you got to remind yourself to pull back, like we're so zoomed in. We've been taught to zoom in on this every day, zoom in on the TV, the news. It's like the degree to which we can pull back and like try to get a big picture. Yeah. And it sounds, I mean, easier said than done, right? But like counting what you're grateful for every day. But I think the more obsessed and zoomed in on something you are, whether it's like the drama news of the day or like anything, any problem, it's going to seem bigger, but you got to like pull back and be like, okay, I have my health. Yeah.
Yeah. Your health. I mean, just even the basic things, just feeling feeling the comfortable clothes against your skin on your body, and really enjoying a hot beverage, or, petting your cat or your dog, or hugging your child, just little things like that, slowing down those reactions. And for me, that's how I have my own little perceptive lengthening of time, because time is just flying by. And the older I get, the faster it goes. So I try to really just allow myself to really be so much more present in the great gifts that life has on a daily basis. Because the more you put an actual definitive, decisive emotion into something positive, you're choosing, I feel so good right now. Your body goes, oh, wow. Oh, we want to create more of these moments. Your hormones change, your endocrine system changes, your gut microbiome changes, your entire body resonates with that emotion on a cellular level, and it is actually good for your health. So I'm going to choose that, because I want to stay in this body as long as I possibly can. I'm going to be fucking old when I end up dying eventually, when my body stops. There's no death, but I want to really extend this as much as possible. And that has been really proven to be like a tangible thing. If you slow down, be grateful, have more positive feeling emotions on a more regular basis. So for me, it's a health decision, and I would just rather feel that way all the time. It's way easier than being the old self of me who was angry and frustrated and just pissed at the world for existing in my presence. It's no way to live.
Why do you think you were so angry?
Fear, definitely fear. Growing up extremely sheltered, being always placed in fearful situations. But when it's hard because everybody's like, oh, when you're a kid, you're in these families, and that was kind of just the generation. Everybody's just doing as good as they can based on their consciousness of where they're at the time they're at. And so just knowing that, seeing how much I've grown since the time that I experienced the traumas that led to the fear, I'm an entirely different cellular being as well. Every 7 years, we get a new whole set of body cells. So I can't even attribute that to, as often as I can also, I try to like take those traumas and think, okay, well, I'm not the same person anymore. That would never happen to me again. I would never attract that. You don't have to keep replaying things like psychological talk therapy to yourself in your own inner monologue to help prevent it from happening again. You have to focus in the now. The past is gone. It's something that happened and helped shape your current behavior and emotions, but it's not happening now. So, and anything that might happen in the future is imaginary, technically, because it hasn't occurred yet. So you're anticipating something imaginary, or you're feeling anxiety, regret, remorse, whatever about something that also no longer exists because it's in the past. So I don't know. I've just tried to slow down and be as present as possible at all times because it's so much more effective. And if you want the next moment to get better, because sometimes that's all you're doing is just living moment by moment, not waiting for the next shoe to drop, but just being like, okay, I don't know what's going to happen next. The best way to pre-pave your experience is just to be present and to be, okay, I feel good right here, right now. Where am I? I'm sitting here comfortably in a chair. I'm happy. I'm clean. I'm dry. I'm not in danger. I'm going to have a snack in a little while. Just really creating moments where you can pre-pave the next moment by being grateful and grounded and appreciative in this moment. And that literally is all it takes. And if that's how you have to work through things, just like Abraham Hicks talks about creating segment intending. If you're getting into your car, this is the wonderful example they make. When you're getting into your car and you think you're going to go to your destination, you think, okay, I'm going to get in. I'm going to have a safe drive. I intend to have a nice, refreshed, easy flowing, traffic. Traffic's going to be smooth. I'm not going to hit anybody. I'm going to have a great time. I feel good. I'm safe in my car. I have my seatbelt on. I'm going to meet friends. I'm going to my job, whatever. Just intend for that segment to be, grounded, present, aware.
I do that with flights every time I get into an airplane.
Yeah.
It's like grateful to be in this airplane. And it's like, I don't mean, maybe when there's turbulence, like I pray a little more, like, all right, we're going to get there safely. And I'm grateful for the pilot and visualizing success. I mean, to someone who's not used to doing it, like, oh, it sounds corny, but
it can sound a little, but if you practice it, if you put the actual, we're not taught this. This is a brand new thing. And
and think about all the things that are like pervasive in culture. It's like, if you look at it the way we're talking about it, it's like there's so much like trying to rob us of our future. Think about like how racism is being shoved down our throats, the events of the past constantly being thrown, slavery, right? Like, okay, when's the last time anybody had a slave? A really long time ago, but it's being used to rob all of us of our present. And then especially with like any negative thing that happens, or like every a school shooting or whatever, it's like all right, well, this is horrible, and oh my god, when's it going to happen again? It's like, okay, you're robbing everybody of their present by being obsessed and fearful of the future. And it's like, you look at our culture and the media, it's almost like it's their job to rob everyone of their present.
It's really tricky. Yeah, the media does focus on far more negative because that's what sells. And yet if they, like, I was talking about this with a girlfriend of mine the other day. You know the movie Monsters, Inc.?
Yeah.
Where the monsters go in and they scare the kids and they fill up the thing with fear.
It's
And
so
then at the
real.
end of the
Yeah.
movie, they fill up the thing with laughter and it goes off the charts. That's how energy works. And to me, I want to learn from the past. I don't want to repeat history. I don't want to go back to anything. I want to move on. I want more compassion, more acceptance, more unity. That's my focus is how can I, okay, yes, those things have happened. A lot of bad stuff has happened, but how can I be better now, like right now? And how can I grow in a way that I can share with others, you know, in ways that that will ensure that they don't want to do that again either. Because, and I'm not trying to like be this preachy, you know, Christ complex or anything. I just want people to all choose for themselves, free will. Ignore the media for the most part. Fucking ignore it because it's only going to focus on what sells their shit, their version of their narrative of their shit.
Which is fear. Yeah. They're never there to tell you anything good because then you won't be obsessively checking
or
in.
give proper suggestions. Like I haven't seen anything on any mainstream media outlet that has suggested how to properly engage in ending racism. They're just like, here's what happened and here's what happened and here's what happened. They're not saying, here are ways to make everyone feel more included. They're not doing any of that. So it's like we now have to take it upon ourselves. We have to just all of the stuff, all of the things that are big hot button issues right now, vaccines and all of this stuff, you have to take it upon yourself and use your best judgment. What is the most compassionate choice for you? Not what they think is going to be the best thing for you to do. Just look at where people's concerns are. And if you experience someone who doesn't feel included, allow them to feel more included. And be kinder to yourself. Forgive yourself for the shit you've done that you think you fucked up, but actually led you to a really great place in your learning experience. Like we're here to experience contrast and fun and excitement and different opinions and to respect each other in those opinions. And that's it. It's way, way simpler. I think if we go inward and just look on an individual level, like how can I help this out? How can I maybe make this a little bit of a gentler situation and just correct it. If you're doing something negative, stop it, whether it be for you or for another's experience. Just be kinder, be more compassionate, forgive yourself, let it go, be easy with the whole situation. Don't make it such a heavy, horrible thing because that's only going to have, oh, box just arrived in my house. Sorry.
Ooh.
But that's just my perspective on it. And there's so many wonderful perspectives going on right now. And the thing that I love about right now is that we're so polarized, but technically, because everybody's have their own beliefs and things like that based on what they've been thinking for so long, everybody is right. Everybody is right. They don't have to be right to me, but to them, they're right. So they're right. Who am I to tell them that they're wrong?
If you look at it like a spotlight, like it's a big, open area. It's like everyone's spotlight. Like what you focus on is where the light goes.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I love that. That's really helped me kind of open up to, well, would anybody tell me that I'm wrong in the things that I've done or that I'm currently choosing? Because I know that what I'm choosing right now is not what I'm going to be choosing in 5 years. It's going to be totally different, or 6 weeks, because I just have this rapid evolving thing going on. And so I just suggest that to everybody. Just what do you feel about it? How can you be more compassionate on an individual level? And even if it starts with being more forgiving and more compassionate and gentler with yourself, that breeds the behavior that extends outward to others. Because if you can love yourself in the ways that you are constantly searching for others to fulfill for you, if you can be that for yourself, you can be that for others too, and teach them how to love themselves so that they're not going, validate me or answer my demand or make it up to me. It's almost like, and I've kind of like let go, and not let go because I have great empathy for everyone in their situations, but offering them empathy is almost as if you're saying, well, I know you can't care for yourself, you can't provide for yourself, so let me provide for you. Right. And let me sink down to your emotional level to be one with you and commiserate with you in a way so that you can feel unified or heard or listened to or validated. Whereas I'd much rather inspire someone to think, I don't have to be miserable. I don't have to choose that. I can choose so much greater for myself. And I can choose to feel better, and I don't have to wait on anyone else to give me that good feeling. We have all that capability, all that power.
Right. And it's like you're not verifying and stamping like victim on someone.
Yeah, and I would never want anyone to feel victimized by me, or I would never choose to perpetuate the victim mentality of another. I would always, always want to advocate for their empowerment, and that sometimes in a lot of situations starts with the individual.
How, Nicole, do you think like your growing spiritual self has influenced like the kind of content you want to create?
In a lot of ways, it's just taken away from my desire to want to be on set with others with a lot of conflicting opinions, and have you heard about this, and you want to talk about this person. I love to listen in on stories and situations and gossip and stuff, but I don't like to repeat it. So if someone needs to be a sounding board for me, they know that it's never going to be repeated, and I'm never going to share it with anyone else. But after a while, my focus just changed, and I didn't want to be at the receiving end of someone else projecting insecurities at me, or you can read a lot about people just based on the way they treat like a crew, like if they have a crew or if they've got a big group under their wing for the day. You can kind of see, when egos clash. And I don't know, I feel like getting into the more spiritual stuff, learning mediumship, and getting into being intuitive and tarot cards and divination and reading for the transitioned and stuff like that. It's kind of allowed me to refocus on what I love the most. And that is kind of just being introverted, being quieter, and focusing on what I can actually offer other than empathy, other than sympathy, especially. I'd much rather empathize than sympathize. And I would much rather offer compassion and constructive help than empathy. So I'm just trying to find my way. It's always changing. It's always different for me. But I really like just the forward-moving progress of everything right now. Everything's chaotic and polarized, if that's the way you choose to look at it. But I think there's going to be so much order coming out of all of this. I trust it. I know what direction it's going. I already know. We can all see it's going to, like, for the first time I think in human history, we're going to have like a really solid unified front at some point really soon. I think it's going to be within our lifetime. And I'm so excited about that, because that's going to rid the world of all of these man-made atrocities that still exist in modern day. We're going to look back at this time and be like, wow, I'm glad we all figured that out, because we weren't going to go anywhere further unless we ironed all those wrinkles out.
What do you say to those who are like very passionately want to just like cancel all porn, think it's the worst thing ever, think it's like horrible, like, and that's the thing, is like nobody ever wants a kid to get their hands on porn and watch it or have it shown to them before they're old enough to like appreciate and consume it voluntarily. But yeah, what do you say to the people who are passionately like, porn is the reason for child abuse and it's the worst thing ever and it's the worst thing for our culture and society, and that whole argument?
I can only really attest to my own situation, where growing up very, very suppressed and very sexually inexperienced and socially inexperienced led me to a catalyst that would resolve me of that, which is porn. So I have found it to be extremely helpful in my individual situation. I think that within everything, gambling, smoking, eating, sugar, carbs, people, media, everything should be within a reasonable amount. And porn is awesome. Sex is as natural to our physiology as eating and drinking and breathing and talking, communicating. And so I've kind of gone into this period of my life where I'm like, I want to learn about the Bible, because it seems in my experience, a lot of the naysayers of porn are coming from an archetype of exclusivity, where there's a misinterpretation, there's a confusion. And something that I've learned was that in this text, when Eve, this second being from this created race called the Lulu Amelu, that were a worker race created from these original hominids that roamed the earth, Eve was enticed by a serpent in the Garden of Eden, where the Lulu Amelu, the human beings, were kept. And so eating from the tree of knowledge, eating an apple or eating from the tree of knowledge, knowing or to know someone or to know their partner was to have physical intercourse, to have sexual intercourse with them. So when a man knew his wife, it meant he was sexually there with her. And at the time, in these original texts, in these original literal inscriptions on tablets that they've now interpreted, there was no sexual reproduction. The original human being was like a mule, like a donkey and a horse can have a baby, but that baby can't have a baby. So we were originally sterile. And at one point, eating from the tree of knowledge, whatever metaphor that was from, Enki, this original establisher / creator being of the Lulu Amelu species, the human species, gave this gift of knowledge to Eve. And suddenly they realized they were naked. And that was that's in this text, that's in the Bible. So you look down at, oh my God, we're naked. And they came to know themselves, the knowledge. So that meant, bam, we have sex. They have sex. They have sex. They realize they are sexual. They realize they can reproduce. And then boom, human species goes completely crazy, booms, huge amounts of, and then we have the deluge and we have all this stuff. So looking back into these properly interpreted stories of the creation of human beings, I look at that and I think, okay, we've got a fucking really long story that we are being lied to about, for one. Secondly, we've been doing this for a really long time. We have been copulating and breeding and having sex. We've got it on inscriptions. We've got it on tablets. We've got it on temple walls. We've got paintings. We've got a book. We've got all of these amazing things to cherish and appreciate sex for an energetic exchange as a very sacred and very loving act. And so that's making me kind of take a step back and realize what sex is to me and my perspective and in my experience with my partners. And yet it's so damned. And yet if someone wants to go out and have a very toxic cheeseburger for lunch that may make them have a heart attack or heart disease over enough years of consumption, they're allowed to do that. Perfectly fine. Oh, you're fine.
It's not shamed. Yeah.
You eat a shitload of cheeseburgers. But it's like anything else, anything within reason, within moderation. If you have a light heart about it and you're enjoying watching a beautiful copulation, whatever it is, double anal gangbang, whatever you're doing, it's that person. Generally, the porn that you're watching, that person is consensual. I mean, we signed this big long list of paperwork agreeing to be there. We're loving it. We prep for this. We love our partners that we're shooting with. In general, porn is way more of a controlled environment than most sexual experiences.
Yes.
We're intoxicated, you know.
Oh, yeah.
We're there having fun and agreeing to these interactions with other people. So I just feel like in sex in general, and porn stars, and God forbid we have any kind of a say-so in anything, because we have sex for a living, and that is just horrible.
And
But
that's all you do. You don't read. You don't like
we're
observe
just
culture. Yeah. You're not smart.
We are useless. But these are the same individuals that you see. They have these major sex scams and these
They're repressed. Yeah.
Things. They're sexually suppressed. I feel like any creativity suppressed. You see someone trying to, shake the finger, and yet you look at their private life and they're hiring hookers, and because they want that, they want the sex. But if they can't have it openly and be perfectly comfortable in their own body expressing as they choose, then no one else should either. And I just feel like it's a really myopic way to look at the adult industry and to look at sex in general. And you just have to look at it in general. We're all consenting to be there. We're having a great time. But, you see these rape cases just go completely, brushed off legally, thrown out, and a slap on the wrist, and the person gets away with it. And yet they're trying to shut down the entire industry that's bringing an incredible amount of joy to people and fulfillment and release and relaxations. And people come home, they want to get on Twitter and see what their favorite porn star is doing because they know us to be free acting, free choosing, fun, loving individuals.
Right. And it's like there's so many people that will blame porn for like rapes in general or what they think rape culture is. But what we never hear about is like, yeah, some guy is interacting with a girl on OnlyFans or subscribing to a site and like that gives him a sense of company in a hard time. And maybe that prevents like a crime or something horrible or a self-harm. Like we never hear about the ways in which it helps people.
For sure. I can't tell you how many people have really just shocked me with this incredibly moving, statements of like, oh, you got me through the Iraq war or going, or not Iraq, excuse me, going overseas and being stationed or being on the front line for months, weeks, years away from my family. And it's like, hey, all right, whatever your thing is. I wouldn't watch porn if I was lonely, but I do the porn. So it's like when I worked at the bank, I didn't come home and count money.
Yeah.
But I think it's just up to the individual. You can't do this blanket thing where no one can enjoy the one thing that we in this select little group shouldn't. It's just about minimizing creativity and expression. It's the same reason why people's opinions and why people's expression is just getting deleted off the internet and stuff like that, because they want everybody to have this really conformed, mild standpoint. And that's not how people exist. People are different. They have to have their different likes and dislikes, and they have to be able to voice their opinions. And if people want to watch porn, if all the porn all of a sudden just shut down, we'd still have sites with porn on them, no matter what. There would still be porn. There'd still be people in
the
their
underground.
Yeah. Filming porn, calling their neighbors, hey, want to film some porn? They would find a way. Look at alcohol, look at cigarettes, look at weed, drugs. Look at anything else that they've told us no, and we find a way around it.
Yeah, you're not going to stop it. It's just too profitable. It's like, I think ultimately it comes down to like, your parenting skills, or you're figuring out like, oh, okay, if I watch too much, then it affects my relationship or my body. It's like up to the individual.
It's like with anything else. It's everything within moderation. If you eat too many cheeseburgers, you're going to have some health complications and probably some emotional complications because you're not feeling really good, and eating a ton of cheeseburgers is not good for you. Watching a ton of porn is probably not very good for you. But everything in moderation. Like I smoke weed every day. I don't smoke 4 or 5 joints. I might smoke a small bowl throughout the day, if that. But everything is in moderation. And you have to just know that in the choosing of that, okay, I'm choosing this. I don't feel suppressed by it, addicted to it. My relationships aren't suffering because of my enjoyment in this thing. And you just got to let people live. Let them live. Let them do their own thing.
Yeah, very libertarian sounding of you.
I get that a lot, but I'm like, then it's like, then you get the other people, you fucking lib.
Yeah, you're not subscribing to a group.
I don't understand what the difference is enough to be like I am or I'm not. I think that people should be able to choose.
You're just you, and things will change and allow people space to grow, develop. I love it, Nicole. Where I feel like I can just keep talking to you forever and ever. Where can people find you, follow you? What's coming up? What are you working on now?
Well, I'm working on a couple different side projects. My big baby right now will be the Atana Wellness line of products. It's a broad spectrum CBD. We will have a full spectrum as well, but they are handcrafted proprietary blend CBD. So they're wellness tinctures, so they've got a lot of other stuff in them that I feel like the body needs right now in general. The whole collective, I think, needs these these antioxidants and detoxifiers to help clear these receptor sites so we can get zinc into our bodies and B12 and CBD and turmeric and stuff like that our immune systems really need, especially in the coming months and stuff post-vaccine. I feel like a lot of people will really need to help, strengthen their immune systems and get to know their bodies a little bit better. So that's my ultimate goal.
Was it you who told me about Dr. Gundry's book? Was it the one about like the seeds?
Oh no, I'm curious about this.
I can't remember. I think it was called The Plant Fudge. Okay, I can't remember.
If you find it, let me know because I'm curious.
Dr. Gundry. It had to do with the GI tract and your gut health.
So cool.
And it was like basically like don't like how eating foods with seeds like cucumbers, tomatoes are like ultimately really bad for your gut health. Maybe it was I forget.
I mean, if you find it, I'm curious.
Okay.
I don't know. I eat those things, and I've definitely rectified my microbiome after several years of antibiotics versus this weird misdiagnosed thing that I had years ago. So I don't know. I think it's individual. It's not a one size fits all type thing. But Instagram, real Nicole Aniston, Twitter, X Nicole Aniston X. Don't send anybody money on the internet that pretends to be me for crying out loud. But I've been shooting a lot of my own content. I might go back to Girl. Right now, I'm just working on some cannabis-related products and wellness stuff, like really wellness stuff. About a year and a half ago, I got, about 3 years ago, I was interested in channeling a lot, really intrigued with channeling. And I got into tarot cards and started doing that successfully. And Reiki, I love Reiki, and I'll be getting my master in Reiki in August. And I've started, over the past year, I've been reading for the transitioned souls, deceased. So
wow, cool.
That's been a lot of fun to learn. And it's, I was so dead set on it because some people are really born with the skill to talk to those who have made their passing. And I was so intrigued with it. I was like, I'm determined to learn this. And I did learn it. And so I've been trying to like get in touch with others in the same community.
Cool. Who would be
people
on your top, like for when you get back into girl, who would you love to work with?
Oh my God. I think I always kind of go back to the same girls that I've always worked with through the years. Alex Lynx, Madison Ivy, Riley's amazing. We had a great scene. I don't think there's anybody that I wouldn't really want to work with. There's only a couple that I would say no thank you. A lot of the new girls coming in are just really vibrant and stunning and energetic, and they want to be there, and they like girls. I like to be with girls who like girls too, because that's weird. If they don't, you can kind of tell they're not into you.
They feel like obligated, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't ever want to, like, if I wasn't into guys and I had to do boy girl, I'd be like, oh, here comes another wiener. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really have an absolute definitive preference. If anybody wants to be there with me and shoot great content, then I'm down.
Cool. I love it. Nicole, thank you so much for coming on. You're always wonderful to talk to.
Same.
You're the best. Love your stuff.
Have a great rest of your week.
And well, thanks
you again for having me on.
You too. Yeah, we'll do it again sometime. Thanks, Nicole.